Hey everybody, this is Dead Winter Dead with another Battlefield Hardline video for you. Well, the beta has come and gone, and we've all got our chance to put in some time with Hardline. I actually got to put a lot of time in. I had an initial crash, I may have told you about this, and then I reset my character, and all told, I think I put close to 33, 34 hours into the beta over the last several days. And this is just kind of going to be a good, bad, and the ugly video, because nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect whatsoever, and Battlefield Hardline is obviously far from perfect. So let's get started with the good. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Is the game fun? Like, when you play it, are you having fun? And the answer for me was yes. I was having fun. I was having a lot of fun playing it. It was kind of fresh. It was a little bit fresh. We got away from the military shooter aspect into more of this cops and criminals, cops and robber type shooter, which was kind of new. It's a gimmicky thing, but you know, after a couple of weeks, we're not even gonna notice it. I mean, most people, you know, when we first start playing Battlefield, we're like, oh, it's the Russians, it's the Chinese, it's the Americans. And then after a couple weeks of playing, you don't even know what team you're playing on anymore. You just know that the bad guys, you know, the bad guys are this color and your guys are another color. I mean, it's just, the factions don't really matter. But there is fun gameplay here, and I'm having a lot of fun with the game. The second good point is it's better than the first beta. The first beta, I was really disappointed. Now, granted, we got a little bit more with this beta than we did the last one, and they've had a lot of time to polish the game. So, I mean, you would expect that. With time comes polish, and hopefully the developers listen to our feedback in this second beta, and we get an even more polished product when this drops. But I have a feeling that this is going to be the game experience that we're going to see. There's not a lot of time to change things too radically. There can be a couple tweaks and a couple balances, but then you end up with your typical, oh, there's going to be a day one patch or a week one patch or a month one patch to fix things that kind of crop up that slipped through the or slipped under the radar during the beta. So I'm sure things will change, just like Battlefield 4 has changed. And that's pretty much all, you know, all of the goods. I mean, another thing I could throw in there is probably the fact that it's infantry focused. I know Battlefield purists, which, you know, there are a lot of times where I'm a Battlefield purist. I enjoy like the larger maps and the large vehicle combat. That's fun for me sometimes. But this was kind of fresh to have just infantry combat. It was smaller maps, infantry focused. You know, it was just you and your primary weapon and the bad guy and their primary weapon, and duking it out over the objective, whatever that objective may be. And that was kind of fresh. I do enjoy that, because normally when I play Battlefield, I play on the larger maps, and I usually, you know, I'll play Conquest or I'll play Rush, which Rush is, you know, is infantry focused, but there's also a lot of vehicles on Rush too, depending on the map. So a quick recap of the good. I'm having fun. It's better than the original beta. It has shown improvement. It's a fresh infantry approach, which we don't really see on a lot of Battlefield titles, except for, you know, the beloved BC2. But even BC2 had heavier armored vehicles. So let's move on to the bad. This is the stuff that I think can be fixed, stuff that I just noticed, and I think the community noticed as well. That probably needs to be fixed, but isn't going to break the game as long as it's addressed. So let's roll right into that one. First things first, and I think most people would agree, the 870. I picked up the 870 for the Enforcer class, which is the new I guess, support class. And that weapon is so overpowered. I mean, I am a terrible shotgun player, but it was unbelievable. I mean, I was one-shotting people at distances of like 25 meters or so. It was unbelievably overpowered. So I think it would probably be a good thing to readdress the shotgun. I understand shotguns are like iconic weapons. You know, they're really cool. They sound really great. It's a great time to have like some beefy weapon sound effects, you know, and the iconic, you know, when you chamber around into a shotgun with that slide, clack, clack. That's iconic. There's nothing in the world that sounds like that. So I understand that it's a cool weapon. It makes sense in this context because, yeah, you know, weapons like that are readily available to, you know, criminal factions as well as to law enforcement factions. So it makes sense that it would be in the game, but it probably needs some readdressing. The other thing was the M16. What is that? The M16A3. I know it was a favorite in Battlefield 3, and I never really used it because I was a support player, so I focused on LMGs. But when I finally bought the M16 in this game, whoa, Nelly, I was nigh unstoppable. In fact, one round, I think I went like 27 or 28 and 0 on Dust Bowl Hotwire. And I was playing very aggressively, too. I wasn't just kind of hanging back. I was having fun, playing aggressively, and every time I would just turn and burn on these guys, it was ridiculous. And you guys know me. I'm not a good shot. I'm not one of these guys that has like a 4.0 KD, you know, with a 28% accuracy all day, every day. I mean, I've got, you know, a 1 point something KD with a 16% accuracy, and I don't use assault rifles. This isn't a weapon that I grew to love and that I had mastered the nuances of in Battlefield 3. It was a weapon that I like, well, I'm going to see what the big hubbub is about, so I bought it, and I actually felt bad. I felt bad using it. It was, you know, sometimes you have those weapons where, like, they're so easy for you to use, you kind of feel like, man, this is kind of a noob weapon because I'm just destroying people here. So, yeah, the M16, the 870, they probably need to be addressed. And this little moment here in the windows is just absolutely hilarious. These guys could not find me. The last thing was, and this is kind of disappointing, there were still some kind of netcode issues. I was dying behind walls a lot more than I was in Battlefield 4, especially after that big fall patch. And I don't know. It's I know the time to kill has been ramped up, but it does seem like when you're firing your weapon at a target, when you're putting bullets downrange, it felt good. When I pulled the trigger, I compensated for the recoil. Every bullet that hit, in my mind, I said, yep, that's where I was pointing. Every bullet that missed, I was like, well, that was my fault. I knew I was off. I knew I was going to miss that shot. So handing out damage felt really good, but it was on the other end that I felt that, you know, I mean, yes, I understand the time to kill has been buffed, and from what I understand, from what I've read on the internet, that they may or may not address this, but it just seemed like there were way too many times where I would get insta-killed or one-shotted or get killed behind a wall or killed behind cover where I'm just, you know, you're looking at the kill cam and kind of scratching your head. And in my mind, it's like, well, I thought we were over this. I thought this was why the CTE initiative exists, you know, not just to help Battlefield 4, but to help future titles, especially future shooters that are built in the Frostbite engine. That's just, I mean, in my mind, it's a no-brainer. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this worked for this game, and you know, Battlefield Hardline is essentially Battlefield 4. It's the next incarnation in the series, so we should just add all the good stuff. I mean, I know there's probably more to it than that. I may be oversimplifying it. Like, yeah, take all the good stuff from this game, put it in this new game, add some new stuff, and yeah, we got a great game. I understand that it's probably not like that. But I was still just a little bit disappointed that it almost seemed like we had taken a step backwards. Now we're going to get into the real bad, or the ugly. And these are things that I don't know if they can be fixed or if they ever will be fixed. And again, all this stuff is just my opinion, but these are issues that will weigh heavily on me and will really determine whether or not I see this game as, you know, an outright failure or something that is an outright success. But the first thing that I want to say is I did put about, like I said, over 30 hours into it between two different I guess characters or whatever, because I had to reset my stats at one point due to a fatal crash. But it was fun. I had fun playing it. It was very distracting, but there were never those moments where I was like, oh my god, I have to keep playing this. I could easily pull myself away from the game, which hasn't been the case with other Battlefield titles, especially games like BC2, 2142, BF3. Like, I was always like, one more round, I can do this. And I I didn't really feel that with this game. Like, I guess, I don't know, replayability, I guess, would be the best way to put it. Is there going to be replayability? Am I going to put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game? I don't know. I haven't seen the other game modes. I haven't seen the other maps. I haven't seen the game fully fleshed out. So this may just be something that is stupid. I may be just thinking in the clouds here. But I couldn't see myself. By the time the beta was done, I was like, you know, that's enough. Like, you know, I'm done anyway. So we'll see. But then, like I said, we did only just get a slice of what this game is going to offer us. The other thing, and this kind of goes back to replayability, is it's kind of too much of the same. You know, it's the thing I like about Battlefield is like you have your smaller infantry-focused maps, you have larger, crazy, huge vehicle-filled maps, and then you have maps that suit both the vehicle-centric player and the infantry-centric player with, you know, open fields where tanks can battle, nice airspace ceilings where jets and helicopters can battle, as well as maybe underground areas or more clustered urban areas where infantry can battle, all on the same map, all vying for power. And I think if this is just going to be, well, it's cops and robbers and it's going to be in the city and blah blah blah, is it going to be too much of the same? Is every map going to start to feel like, oh man, there's, you know, this map's a different color, but it's just like Dust Bowl, or this map is a little bit smaller, but it's just like downtown. So, you know, the replayability factor kind of comes in again. Is it going to be all kind of the same? And the last thing that I wanted to touch on, and I know this video is starting to get a little bit long, was my last Hardline video. I put out a video about Hotwire that I was like, oh my god, this game is so great. And it was so much fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And when everybody is focused on the objectives, like you should be in Battlefield, it plays out great. I had so much fun playing Hotwire, and I played hours. And I think I mostly played Hotwire. I barely played any Conquest, and then I played a couple of Bank Heist game modes, but it was mostly Hotwire. Excuse me. And I noticed that after a while, people realized the way to get ahead in Hotwire is to blow up the cars. So you've got the RPGs in the trunk, which people are just whoring out. But the biggest thing is you've got the enforcer guy, the support guy with the C4, the breaching charges, and the cheesiest tactic. I'm just going to throw some breaching charges on the road, and then I'm going to hide in the stairwell, watch my minimap. When a car comes by, kaboom, triple kill, and I also get points for destroying a car. So it got to the point where I actually played some Hotwire games where there was like, you know, 5 or 6 vehicles, and maybe only one of them was captured because no one wanted to get into a car because they were worried, well, the minute I get in that car, somebody has booby-trapped it with C4, or I'm going to be driving down the road, you know, capping the flag, and then boom, C4 that you can almost never see, and you certainly cannot avoid it. So it turned into really a chore, and it just ended up just kind of like this troll game mode where you're like, you know, I'm not even going to try because I can't get ahead in this game mode anymore. So like I said, it was up and down. There were peaks and valleys with Hotwire, which I hope, because I mean, if they brought us Hotwire in the beta, I think they may be touting that as like, you know, the new fresh mode. And if it's already inherently broken in the fact that the easy way to win is to just throw some C4 on the road and wait for vehicles to drive by, and the maps are so small, the vehicles eventually just end up kind of going around in a circle, and you just take the same roads over and over and over again in order to keep your speed up, in order to keep the vehicle quote-unquote hot-wired and the vehicle captured for your team. So you end up just kind of driving in the same route, and once somebody realizes you're doing that, C4 on the road, boom, you're dead. So I'm going to get off my high horses about that, but I was a little bit disappointed about that, and it may be a fatal flaw inherent to the game mode itself that just cannot be changed. So anyway, guys, that's my good, bad, and the ugly video on Battlefield Hardline. Again, this was just a beta. I know things can change. I have pre-ordered this game. I've actually had this game pre-ordered for quite some time, so I will be playing it. I will be putting it up on my channel. But if you were still on the fence, I would wait until after the release, start watching videos of like the finished product, and determine whether or not it's a purchase that you want to actually make and invest your hard-earned money in. So once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. My name's Dead Winter Dead. Thanks for watching.